Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christine and I am the creator of the MyIBSLife Instagram account. I've been diagnosed with IBS for 13 years now, which is disgusting. Should be illegal. Wish I could sue my own body for emotional distress. And not gonna lie, these past 13 years have been some of the hardest, most painful, most trying times of my entire life. But with that, I want to turn like my pain and suffering and all the shitty experiences I've gone through into helpful stories and tips and tricks for you guys so you can better manage your illness, whether you've just recently been diagnosed or if you've been suffering for as long as I have. When it comes to IBS, it can really seem like anything and everything can just like set off our symptoms at any given time. And we get told a lot by healthcare professionals that some of the main triggers to our IBS can include our diet, stress, anxiety, hormones, medications, things like that. But what about other random things that we do every single day that might be contributing to our pain and our symptoms and our flares? Even if we try really hard to track our diet and manage our stress, whatever the fuck that means, there are so many other factors in our life every single day that we don't even think of that could be contributing to our pain and our suffering. So with that, today I am here to tell you 3 random things that might be triggering your IBS that you might not even be thinking of. Before I jump into today's video though, I do want to tell you guys that I actually have learned this information over the past few months from an online 16-week IBS management course I've been taking called Master Method. Master Method is led by a registered dietitian by the name of Erin Judge, and if you don't already, you should definitely go to Instagram and go follow her at erinjudge.rd. Erin does such a good job of explaining what is actually going on in the body. I feel like she's actually having the conversations with us that we really should be getting from our doctors when we're diagnosed with these illnesses. If you would like to learn more about Master Method or Erin Judge herself, make sure to go click the link in the description box below. Okay, so the first random thing that might be triggering your IBS that you might not even be thinking about is exercise. So depending on what type of IBS you have, whether you're more prone to diarrhea or more prone to constipation, exercise could be having either a negative or positive impact on your symptoms. Movement in the body is so important for people that have gut disorders. By no means am I trying to scare you away from exercising at all, but being mindful and taking note of the types of exercising you're taking part of and the symptoms you're having shortly after is important to see if your body is tolerating it well. When we exercise, we're actually creating a stress response in our bodies, or a flight or fight response, which increases blood flow and hypermotility in our gut. Now, for those of you who have IBS-C or constipation, this actually might be a good thing for you. The increase of blood flow to your gut and your intestines from exercises such as like high intensity workouts, running, cycling, CrossFit, Orange Theory, other movements like that can really help get the gut and the intestines moving and actually help you produce a bowel movement and relieve your symptoms. But for those of you with IBS-D, high intensity workouts such as the ones we just discussed might actually make you have more symptoms and more discomfort. If you do have IBS-D, it's probably in your best interest, at least at first, to stick to lower intensity workouts. This way you keep your heart rate down, you keep your intestines relaxed, and hopefully you're preventing yourself from feeling sick. And these low intensity workouts can be fun things such as yoga, bar, swimming, or even just going for a walk. And once you're done exercising, you might actually want to like write down the types of exercises you've done and report within the next hour or two how you felt after, if you got sick, if you felt fine, if you had any symptoms at all. And once you start doing this like a few days in a row or a few weeks in a row, you might actually start to see patterns of what is and isn't working for your body. Now, the second random thing that might be triggering your IBS, honestly, is super random. The only reason I'm even talking about it is because it happened to me last night, and that is bad dreams. I know having bad dreams isn't really something we can control, so this kind of makes this one like a tricky one. But basically last night I had a really heartbreaking dream about my boyfriend Jay breaking up with me, and it was super sad and super awful. And when I woke up, immediately my chest was just super tight. I couldn't breathe, and because of that and because of like the anxiety and the trauma it set off in my brain as I was sleeping, I woke up with like a rock in my stomach. My intestines were already spasming. I felt nauseous and shaky. I felt super fatigued because I had bad dreams all night, so I didn't really sleep that well. And now honestly it's 7 p.m. and I still don't feel right. At least for me personally, emotions and stress are my biggest triggers of my IBS. But I think sometimes it's easy to forget that even though we aren't having like a physical meltdown in the moment, even subconsciously our emotions and our stress might be affecting our gut. So if you wake up in the morning feeling like crap, there might be a possibility you had a bad dream and therefore that's why you're now experiencing symptoms. Totally unfair because you really don't have much control of that, but could possibly be what's going on. The third random thing that might be affecting your IBS every day without you even really knowing it is how well you're sleeping. I feel like doctors really don't do a good job of discussing how important it is to get a good night of sleep when you have a stomach issue, but it is seriously so important. It's 100% not a coincidence that you might actually feel like dog shit the day after having a really bad night of sleep. And that's because it's actually a thing that sleep disturbances can make you feel worse. Thankfully, there are things you can do to make sure you actually do have a good night of sleep. Things like that include making sure there's no noise going on in your room, there's no bright lights going on in your room, putting away your phone and any screens and electronics 30 to 60 minutes before you go to sleep to like relax your mind. You can also start doing things like yoga and meditation before you go to bed to calm and ease not only your mind but your whole body, including your gut. Especially when we already have an illness where we're prone to having fatigue in our daily lives, it's just so important for us to get a good night of sleep. And if you aren't getting a good night of sleep, which I am 100% guilty of, cannot remember the last time I had a good night of sleep, that very well could be the reason or one of the reasons you're not feeling well during the day. So yeah, these are just 3 random things that could possibly be triggering your IBS. I personally just never had these conversations with my doctors. I don't know, maybe you guys did. But I'm just so thankful that Erin has kind of brought these things to my attention. Also, I just want to remind you guys that the pain is not all in your head. You know your body best and your pain is very, very real and very valid. Don't let others who aren't experiencing it themselves and who aren't you and who aren't in your body every day make you feel crazy or invalidated. If you would like to see a part 2 on this topic, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram at MyIBSLife, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys.